Hello, my name is Zachary Schinkel. I'm 37 years old. I am a DJ. I've been DJing for 20 years now, and I just wanted to talk about my experience with stage fright and how I've used DJing to overcome it. Back in late 2004, my friend had bought some new gear, and he was wanting to sell his old turntables to someone that he knew would use them, and that just happened to be me. I practiced in my bedroom for about over a decade before I really let people hear me. Over the years, I've upgraded my gear from vinyls to CDs, giving me a lot easier access to the selection of music. Obviously, with the growing times, nowadays you just use a USB, bring thousands of tracks with you to your gigs. It's way easier than it was back then, but I'm happy that I learned how to mix on vinyl. Always remember your roots. After about a decade, I felt like it was time that I would play in front of friends. I was super nervous, but 10 years is a long time to practice something. When my friend got there, I was so nervous that I just wanted to leave. It was my own house. He helped me get through it. We both played for hours, just enjoying the music and having fun. Shortly after that, my good friend Peter asked me if I would DJ at his birthday at his house. I reluctantly agreed, as this was the first time that I would be getting out in front of a large group of people. Well, I was saying 10 years is a long time to practice something. As the days went by, getting closer to his birthday, I was just a wreck. I kept asking myself, what if I'm not good enough? What if I mess up and they laugh? If I remember correctly, I did try to cancel him on the day before his birthday. Him and his girlfriend at the time convinced me to still come out and play, as it would just be a group of our friends. Thinking back to it, I'm glad that they did, because it was an incredibly fun night and a great experience that I will never forget. After everything was set up, I got a chance to mix before anybody had shown up. That kind of helped calm my nerves. It helped a lot, actually. By the time people started showing up, I just kept playing. I DJ'd for like 4 or 5 hours before I stopped, and we just listened to MP3s or whatever. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It's one of my most favorite memories I have as a DJ. I think it's definitely time for us to throw another party for Peter. I played a few smaller shows here and there after that birthday barbecue. Lots of bar shows that I was asked to perform for birthdays. Nothing big, shows that had like 2 or 3 DJs on the lineup. Every time I would get sick before, but I was learning that if I could get by and just get on stage, that I would be fine. All I had to do was hit play, and I'd be fine. At the end of 2018, I was asked by a good friend that I'd met through the years of partying to play one of his shows in Seattle. I lived in a small town, so the little shows I was playing had very small crowds. This would be the first major city that I would play in since I started DJing. I accepted it, and the show would start the next year on January 19th, 2019. If I remember correctly, I had 2 months to prepare for this set. I went over what tracks I would play in what order repeatedly. I even had it out to the exact moment in each track that I would start the next one. I was ready for this big show. Then, of course, the day came, and I was so nervous that I got sick multiple times throughout the day. I could not hold any food down. It was just a disaster. My wife drove me to the venue, doing her best to calm me down the whole way. By the time I got to the venue, I decided that this would be the last time that I would ever DJ, as I just couldn't take this before the shows. Even with all the practice, what if I miss a cue point? What if my transitions are terrible? Then to make things worse, right before I started, the venue made everyone but myself leave so they could check IDs, including my wife, who I was using for support. I fought through the urge to run, to just leave, never talk to anybody again. I just pushed through it, and I got on that stage, and as soon as I hit play, all those worries just disappeared. I played the set. I did have a few mess ups, but I played them off and I pulled through. After my set, I remember chatting with the venue owner. about coming back sometime. I talked with a bunch of promoters that night actually, and all of them saying the same thing. One of the biggest things that I noticed and I took away from that night was that how nerve-wracking it was missing the exact spots that I wanted to drop the next track. If I even missed one, the set would not turn out the way that I'd spent months practicing. I realized that while I was in my room playing with no purpose is when I had the most fun. No worry about missing a cue point or what track to play next. I just went with the flow and decided that this was so much fun that I should try and do this for my gigs. Just go with the flow. The next show I was booked for was a way bigger event called Roots, with 29 DJs, 2 stages, and back in Seattle. It was a bit later in 2019. And this would be the first back-to-back that I would get to play. This would be a huge moment for me, but instead of getting nervous, I was excited. I was going to do the back-to-back with my good friend Charles. We both played the same type of music, so I wasn't worried since there was not much time to get practice in. I felt that this would be the perfect time for me to try this new method of just winging it. I took about 30 to 40 tracks that I knew really well, and I just put them in one folder on my USB. We only got 30-minute set, which was really sad. It's not really long for 2 people to play together. But when the day came, I was so excited that I wanted to get to Seattle way earlier and hang out. I was not nervous in any way. I mean, what was there to be nervous about? Currently, I had been DJing for 14 years. I had no tracks in order, no practice on what to play, just a bunch of my favorite tracks. And I got on that stage and I had the most fun that I ever had. There was no more stage fright. Like I had done it. I wish it didn't take me so long to get to that point. Almost 15 years I fought stage fright. And finally I was able to enjoy myself while doing something that I loved. And that is how I use DJing to overcome my stage fright.